Welcome, creatures of all ages. Happy independent. For anyone watching this video who is Desi, happy Indian Independence Day. Jai Hind. But yeah, I decided to do a guerrilla stream today because, to be honest, sad to say, Indian Independence Day totally. The fact that it was Indian Independence Day totally passed me by. Raimundo, Amanda, thank you so much for coming. I was wondering whether or not to do a guerrilla stream today because, but I figured that if I'm going to have a consistent schedule of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from now on, might as well start now. So, like I said, Indian Independence Day completely passed me by because I am stubbornly American, just like Lord Mollington. Just like Lord Mollington. I am a proud American, but unlike him, I love my parents' country too. I am very proud to be Indian, and always will be. So today I have decided that we are going to play the one of the two options. What is it? One of the two Indian factions in any Total War game, even if this one is unofficial. The official, only one Indian faction in any Total War game is the Maratha Confederacy in Empire Total War. However, I wanted to do this because I'm actually because I know quite a few people in the small Total War Divided Empire community, and this is honestly one of my favorite factions, both for, this is one of my favorite games, both for role-playing, Total War role-playing, and just how good the combat is, as well as the grand strategy. So yeah, we are doing this. We are playing as Maurya Samraj, the Maurya Empire, which came into blasted into the picture after the Mauryans defeated Seleucus Nicator and took Pakistan, and also known as Taxila back then, and a large part of Afghanistan. So yeah, we are unfortunately India itself is not a playable region in this map. So we are going to be for some reason and all the troops from India itself are just going to be staying there, and we are and Bindusara and Ashoka are going to be entirely extending into the west. We are going to try and Uno reverse Alexander after his defeat of Porus at the Battle of the Hydaspes. I think that's how it's pronounced. Wait, let me just... So... Let me just turn the volume down and... So as you can see, we are starting in the region of Pura and Oraya in Taxila. The creators of this mod do get it right by saying that the name Bharata actually comes from the Rig Veda, which describes the War of the Ten Kings. In which the Bharata tribe defeated 10 other Aryan kings and established themselves as the leading as the leaders of the new India. And They also describe the kingdom of Magadha and eventually the Nanda Empire. But of course, followers of this particular Armad know of the Maurya Empire more for their war with the Greeks. The Greeks. After Alexander defeated the Persians, he kept on pushing east and fought with the king of the Taxilian king Porus. I'm just going to call him Porus, not any Indian name, largely because there are no Indian records that actually refer to him, largely because Indians did not actually record their history back then, except hagiographically. So, I'm not, one thing I actually feel like doing, before we actually do anything else, we're going to read something from, oh yeah, that's right, that's what you said. You take everything Vyasa says as historical truth. That is absolutely based. Hold on, so I want to actually do something else before we go any further. Archive, Amar, Chitra, Kata, Alexander, and Porus. I want to see if we can. We are going to read this together. Paurava and Alexander. The Indians, the Indian brain rot take on ancient history and how badass Indians really were, unlike the lies spread by those pesky Greeks. Let's see. Let me get this right on. Kara, welcome! Let me just... There. Alright, Paurava and Alexander. Battle of the Giants. So like I said, in real life... in real life, the army was large, and the elephants were had awesome power, but Porus got curb stomped. Porus got absolutely curb stomped. I think Alexander lost only 100 of his men. Thank you. Happy it's Indian Independence Day. Hey, and that is exactly what we are celebrating. We're gonna start by... So yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Amar Chitrakatha is the way that most Indian children start learning their history, which kind of sucks because it's heavily... it's biased to a fault where I'd honestly consider it to be, not even historical fiction. I'd consider it to be, I don't know, alternate history at this point. But, it's pretty fun to read, and honestly, the art is awesome, so let's go. Paurava and Alexander. Alright, so are we there? Are we doing this? Yes, we are. More than 2,000 years ago, King Paurava stood at the bank of the Jhelum, watching his men pursue his rival Ambi, the king of Takshila, who was fleeing from the battlefield. When Ambi was captured and brought before Paurava, go back to Takshila and don't come to the side of the Jhelum again. I can't stand the sight of cowards. Paurava, mark my words, I will make you beg for your life at this very spot. Oh, cool, the text is selectable. Say no more, be gone. When he was back at Takshila, Ambi sat brooding over his defeat. I must humble Paurava, but how? Sometime Ambi's minister imported news to him. My lord, Alexander the Greek king is planning to invade our country. In fact, he has come to the very gates of India. He is camping at Nicaea. Good. I will bet the Greek against Paurava. He will fight my war for me. This is correct, by the way. Alexander was invited to wage war against Porus by one of his rivals. Ambi paid a visitor to Alexander at Nicaea. Why should we fight, Alexander, when you intend to take away from us with us neither water nor grain? My kingdom is yours, Alexander. I welcome you to Takshila. I wish all other kings would think like you. No, he didn't. He was always looking for a fight. Alexander never lost a battle, and as such, he had an ego the size of Jupiter, not the god, but the planet. When the news reached Paurava, oh Ambi, don't you realize that Alexander wants to take away what is more precious than the water, food, or even life? Our freedom. He began preparing for war. Alexander will realize that for every traitor like Ambi, there will be 100 Pauravas to resist him. Meanwhile, at Nicaea, King Ambi, I have divided my army into 2 divisions. You will lead the first division to the Khyber Pass to the Indus. I'll usually say, King Alexander. The first division, led by Ambi and 2 trusted generals of Alexander, had easy passage. That's the river Sindhu, but Alexander, who led the second division through a different route, directs the rear of the different division, faced stiff resistance at Mashkavati. We will make a surprise attack on the fort and demolish it. But the chieftain of Mashkavati had made preparations to give Alexander a hot reception. Be ready to shoot. Note, the next moment, shoot. Alexander was hurt in the ankle. The emperor is hurt. But Alexander was unperturbed. He extracted the arrow and flung it away. On with the attack. The next day, Alexander battered down a part of the wall by employing military engines. At last, a breach. But when Alexander's men tried to force their way to the breach, the soldiers of Mashkavati fought spiritedly and forced Alexander's men to withdraw. Yep, that's right. The one battle that Alexander lost that no Greek will ever tell you about. Vasilisa, welcome! We are reading the untold story that no Greek will ever tell you about. The time when when half of Alexander's army was destroyed by the mighty god King Porus. That night, Alexander held consultations with his officers. They are determined not to let us enter the fort, and they are well equipped to prevent us. We'll have to try a bolder method. Push the fighting tower forward. When it reaches the walls, lower the bridge. The next day, what's that? It's a bridge, destroy it. Breathing arrows, Alexander's men arrived on the bridge. But the bridge collapsed under the weight of 8 of the enthusiastic Greeks. Yeah, the Greeks. Yeah, I'm trying to breach the walls of. I'm trying to breach the walls of the Indian fort, but my cheeks are clapping so hard that. My cheeks are so dummy thick. Their clapping is shattering the bridge of my siege towers. Undaunted by the failure, Alexander replaced the bridge with a new one and led his men for himself. A fierce battle was fought on the bridge. Suddenly, the chief of Mashkavati fell, hit with a missile. All was over. The mercenaries who had served the chieftain of Mashkavati began negotiating with Alexander. I agree to a truce if you will vacate the forest and join my army. We agree. The mercenaries, 7,000 strong, marched out of the fort along with their women and children and encamped at a small hill which faced Alexander's camp. I don't like the idea of fighting for the Greeks. Why did we agree to take up arms against our own people? Said no one ever. Indians, as I said before, Indians will gladly fight against anyone if they are paid enough. Remember that the majority of, the majority of the soldiers in Major General Arthur Wellesley's army during the Second Maratha War were Indian. They were Indian sepoys. Let's slip away and let us go fight for Parava. The night the mercenaries stole out. Suddenly, the Greeks form a ring with the women and children in the middle. Having learned in advance about their plan of escape through spies, Alexander dispatched the troops. We cannot allow you to join Porus. Join us and face death. And the mercenaries fell on Alexander's men. Even the women took up arms against the Greeks. At the end, the mercenaries, men and women alike, met a glorious death. Brave people. I wish they had been my friends, not their foes. Not my foes. Alexander resumed his march, and on the way he captured many forts. The inhabitants of these places fled. Let us take shelter in Varana. Yes, even Alexander cannot hope to take Varana. When Alexander heard this, Sir, it is impossible to take Arnos. Even Hercules... What? You're... Even Hercules failed. Hercules went to India and failed to take an Indian fort. Oh my God, I love this. Alexander marched with his men. That is the inaccessible rock, Arnos. It is so high that even birds cannot fly over it. Alexander turned to Ptolemy, one of his trusted generals. Ptolemy, take your men and climb up, and when you reach a safe position, send me a signal. Ptolemy led his men on the difficult rocky route to Varana, while Alexander anxiously waited for the signal at last. Ah, the beacon light. Ptolemy has found a secure position. The next day, Alexander and his men inched forward despite the continuous shower of arrows. Keep going. At last, the people of Varana gave up the attempt to drive back the Greeks, while Alexander joined Ptolemy. Trouble begins from here. It is impossible to reach the summit. What's stopping us? The summit rock is surrounded by ravines. We will fill them up with wood and climb to the top. At his order, the soldiers cut down the trees of the surrounding forest. Meanwhile, his generals approached Alexander. Sir, we would request you not to endanger your life by taking part in this operation. I will try not to. But when the trumpet sounded, giving a signal to start, Alexander was the first to lift the trunk of a tree and throw it onto the ravine. Hurrah! The Greeks worked without rest, and all the ravines were filled. Now, the road to Arnos is open to us. Then the people of Varana began negotiations with Alexander. Sir, the negotiations are a cover to escape. Let them escape. We will move in when they leave. When they fled, Alexander was the first to scale the rock and reach the summit. Alexander built a fort on the rock. Leaving Shashigupta, an Indian prince, in charge of the fort, he resumed his march. Alexander and his men crossed the river Sindhu on a bridge of boats and marched towards Takshila. Suddenly, look, an army is advancing towards us. There is some mischief afoot, but we are prepared. Wait! Is Alexander being pulled by a chariot? No. This I cannot forgive. I can forgive Alexander scaling a wall and Hercules being unable single-handedly with his bare hands, and Hercules being unable to take a fort, and Alexander being driven back by arrows. But this I cannot forgive. the great leader of a Macedonian army, famed for its Sarissa cavalry, and having long ago moved past the chariots of a Bronze Age, being pulled by a now obsolete chariot. No, that I cannot forgive. Wait, am I audible? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. It's Umbi. Alexander, my entire army is yours. For a moment I thought you had brought your army to attack me. Not I. Perhaps Parava might try. I hope he won't try the impossible. I will send him a message. After sending an envoy to Parava, Alexander waited at Takshila for a reply. And his men welcomed the respite from long marches and battle, and amused themselves in sports and recreation. One day, on Asporus, I would like to meet the sages and philosophers of this country. This is actually true. Alexander was fascinated by the sages of India, known as Gymnosophis, because they were all naked. Gymnos. Oh, awesome! One of his toughest fights. Again, no, it was not one of his toughest fights. Alexander dunked on Porus. He only lost 100 of his men out of like 20,000. It's just that Asporus again was stoic and brave. So if I give you enough money, Mao, maybe he had something for a vintage war chariots. Well, I mean, chariots. The thing about chariots is that chariots were. They were very symbolic, definitely. Chariots were definitely an important part of... Wait. Why is my mouth not moving? Hold on. Alright. Yeah. Okay. No, it's still not moving. I have to look directly at the... I'm looking at my second monitor, but apparently I have to look directly at the webcam in order to move my mouth. But yeah, the Greeks and Romans would never truly give up their chariots. They would always chariots symbolic value. They would always have like incredible love for them in sport and competition. Even after gladiatorial games went out of fashion due to the rise of Christianity, chariot races remained incredibly popular in the Eastern Roman Empire, to the point where riots would occur between fans of different teams after chariots. Chariots are very important. The chariot card turns any card into a steel card, which gives 1.5 mult when held in your hand. I'm not sure if you're talking about Balatro or tarot cards. I know that one of the first, oh, it is Balatro. I was thinking of tarot cards because one of the first bosses in the light gun game House of the Dead is called the Chariot. This like giant zombie with a battle axe. Oh yeah, he took the two Gymnosophis with him to Babylon. I think one died along the way, and the other did the set myself on fire to prove a point bit. Alright, so... On Asporus, I would like to meet the sages and philosophers of this country. I hear that Dundamis is a great sage in Takshila. I will ask him to come and meet you. So, regarding the Indian and Asian fascination with unaliving, tarot cards and Balatro were both right. Oh, I see. You know what you should sometimes play, Amanda? Luck be a landlord. You're already a degenerate gambler, so take the natural step from video poker to slot machines. And after that to Plinko. Plinko is the ultimate, digital Plinko is the ultimate degenerate gambler. at gambling stage. You can be like XQC and like just rapidly drop balls and just ignore the law of large numbers, think it doesn't apply to you. Moving my mouth. So regarding the Asian fascination with unaliving, I'd like to bring up living mummification, the living mummification that was popular in Japan, where for 3,000 days straight, the monks, Buddhist monks would eat nothing but a mix of rice gruel and pine needles, and they would just gradually shrivel up to like near bone, at which point they would entombed themselves and just stand still until they were mummified. The card tell me you must pay me $50. Yeah, the card tells me you must pay me I must pay you $50, but in response, I will play the five pieces of Exodia and win the entire game forever. What is the game? Well, we just lost it, all of us. Yeah, I'm a dick. So, I think in a lot of these cases, be it immolation or living mummification, it's not really considered I wouldn't say it's considered to be unaliving or not being able to handle the burdens of life. It's more of like the ultimate test of detachment from the world, because Asians traditionally have considered to be considered the Shramana philosophy of Buddhism, Jainism, and Aztec Hinduism, Bhakti, has always been that the ultimate form of enlightenment is detachment from the world. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Amanda, but you know, that's how the cards fall. That's how the cards fall. So, well, I'm guessing when the gymnosophist, when the gymnosophist set himself on fire, it's like Alexander. I'm guessing he was trying to make a prove a point, because Alexander killed so many people across his conquests, and was like, "You've killed so many people, but guess what? We're all gonna die." Oh, great king teacher, King Alexander wishes to meet you. He is the sovereign lord of all men. God is the creator of light, of peace, and of life. He alone is the Lord in my estimation, and he abhors slaughter and war. O sage, if you kill on Alexander, he will reward you with splendid gifts. His gifts have no use to me. I have these leaves which are my house, these trees which nourish me with their fruit. Yonder stream quenches my thirst. Mother Earth gives me everything. I have no need for Alexander. But if you don't go to him, O sage, King Alexander will behead you. He may do so, but he cannot destroy my soul. Your threats are powerless against us Aztecs, since we neither love gold nor fear death. Tell Alexander he has nothing to offer me, and therefore I will not go to him. But if he wants anything from me, he may come to me. On receiving Secretus' report, Alexander himself went to Dandamis. I, the great conqueror, have found more of than my match in this Aztec. The sage and the conqueror held many philosophical discussions. Meanwhile, Alexander's envoy reached Parava's court. O king, Alexander wants you to pay him tribute. He wants him to meet you at your frontier. I will certainly meet Alexander, but I will come armed for battle. True to his word, Parava marched to the banks of the Jhelum. Good. The river in spate. Alexander will have a problem crossing it. When Alexander arrived at his men at the opposite bank of the river, Sir, how will we cross? The river is in spate. The river does not worry me. Porus does. I'll have to think of some way. That night, Parava heard a loud clamor. Alexander is attempting to cross the river. Even as Parava rushed out of his tent, his generals joined him. My lord, the Greeks are marching downstream. We can hear the noise. Then our men will march in the direction of the noise on this side of the river. Parava led his men out. They are making a terrific noise, but no attempt to cross. They dare not, now that we are here. Paurava returned to his camp. Several times, Paurava led his men out, only to find that the Greeks were not so much interested in attempting to cross the river as uttering war cries. He turned to his general. No purpose will be served in keeping track of the Greeks every time they march out. Alert the army only when they actually attempt to cross over to his side. A few days later at Alexander's camp, Porus no longer makes any counter-movement when our men march out. Good, Craterus. We have lulled his suspicions. That night, the advance party has reached destination. The boats are kept in readiness. Good. I will take 1,200 men with me. We'll have to move with care. You know what? I'm going to move it to my main monitor. And there we go. 12,000 men with me. We'll have to move with care. Porus should not suspect anything. Alexander marched with his men under cover of darkness and reached the place 16 miles away where he intended to cross. Fortunately for him at that moment, a thunderstorm broke out. Fortune smiles against us. The thunder will drown out the noise we will make while crossing. Alexander used rafts covered with hide to cross the river. The Greeks landed on the other side of the river. It continued to rain. Many soldiers fell dead, struck with lightning. Imagine, you know what? I think this is deliberate because Zeus is angry at the Greeks for attacking his chosen people. As they marched forward, braving rain, thunder, and lightning. What a stream again! But Alexander managed to find a shallow part of the stream, and his men forded it. Meanwhile, Paurava is waiting in his camp. I don't understand Alexander's strategy. Does he intend to cross the river after winter sets in? Then a soldier rushed in. My lord, we saw the Greeks crossing the river near the plain, 16 miles from here. Paurava sent for his son. Rush to the plain with your men. Alexander must not be allowed to advance further. I will start at once, father. Paurava's son rode with his men. Suddenly, quicksand, stop! Even as the horse sank, the rider leapt to safety. We will make a detour. Thus, the prince was delayed in reaching the plain. By then, Alexander's man had crossed all over. Here come the forces of Porus. Be ready. The two armies met. The prince has been killed! Let us flee! Then Paurava himself marched to the plain with a huge army. Alexander was impressed by Paurava's battle formation. I see at last that I have met my match. Still, I will devise a strategy that will take him by surprise. Alexander sent its mounted archers against Paurava's left wing. The men of Paurava's right wing had become excited. The Greeks are attacking our left wing. Let's go support. That's the thing Indians did not realize. The Indians have non-violent vegetarian hippies, but the Greeks have hippies. For anyone who doesn't know, hippie is another word for horsemen. As Paurava's right wing swung over to the left. Be quick, Koinos, this is your chance. The Greeks under Koinos swept past the front of Paurava's army, galloped round its right wing, and attacked from the rear. The Greeks! Don't panic, fight, my men! It had rained heavily the night before. Paurava's archers found it difficult to rest their long bows on the slippery ground. Oh God, what a day to choose for a battle! If only it had not rained last night! But Paurava's spirit was not dampened. As he charged forth, the Greeks were trampled down by his elephants, and their chariots... Again! And the Greeks using chariots. Chariots, that's the one thing I just cannot forgive. The Greeks became panicky at the sight of its elephants. Stab the beasts! Kill the riders! The elephants stabbed by the Greeks began to run amok, and the Paurava's men fell victim to their own enraged elephants. That is actually correct. That actually did happen. Paurava continued to fight, although several of his men panicked and deserted him. When Parava was about to faint because of the number of wounds he had received, his elephant's general gently lowered himself. These people can't be serious. I like how it's the chariots that gets you. It really is. It really is. Even this I can forgive. This I can forgive as creative liberty. But the Greeks using chariot. You know what? You know that I can forgive too, because remember what happened. What came around in the Greek world right after Alexander's victories. The Pontic Scythe chariots. One of the terrors of the Mediterranean. Smashing into the enemy ranks and tearing people in half. Seriously though, there's a reason why chariots went out of fashion, because chariots were so popular in the Bronze Age because horses were smaller. Horses were too small to carry people on their backs into battle, and so they brought chariots, because chariots can be pulled by 2 horses. Well, obviously the Greeks didn't own the chariots. They used Uber. That's correct. No matter in what period of history, be it the Stone Age, the far future, or the Middle Ages, there will always be Silicon Valley tech bros. You're still surprised horses were that small. Yes, and horses continue to be small well into the Middle Ages. What is it called? Mongol horses were actually very small, and they were small and fast, just big enough to carry lightly armored horse archers. Quietly extracted the darts from his body with its trunk. Parava patted his faithful elephant. On your feet, friend. I'm ready to fight again. The Greeks arriving in a general lee like the Dukes of Hazzard. The next moment, the elephant was on its feet and Parava began to hurl darts at the Greeks. Alexander watched the desperate fight put up by Parava. He is one of the bravest men I have ever known. How long will he continue to fight us? He must be saved. Alexander turned to Ambi, which is what is by his side. Go to Porus and ask him to surrender. Ambi turned his horse towards Parava. This is one of the happiest moments of my life. I will see my hated... and humbled. Oh, Parava, surrender to Alexander. Wounded as he was, Parava lifted his huge javelin. You coward! The javelin missed Ambi as he galloped away. Then Meros, an old friend, came to Parava. Parava, take the outcome of the war sportingly. Meet Alexander. Parava dismounted. Get me some water first. I will get it at once. Parava refreshed himself with the water, and then turned to Meros. Now take me to Alexander. When Alexander was informed of Parava's decision, I will go and receive him. Alexander drew rein, and when he saw Parava walking towards him, he is advancing as one brave man would gallop towards another after a gallant fight. O Porus, tell me how you would like to be treated. Treat me, Alexander, as befits a king. Alexander was impressed by Parava's reply. I will, but don't you need anything else? Everything is included in what I have asked for. Porus, I restore your kingdom to you and add the surrounding territory to your state. I want you as my ally. Alexander, I have lost a battle, but won a friend. Alexander's ambition of including Punjab and Sindh in his empire was doomed to fail. This land was too far from Greece. But his campaign paved the way from future companions communication between Greece and India. That's right, Greece and India, bros for life. First of all, later on, according to Plutarch's account, Porus would actually be killed by one of Alexander's generals. But yeah, Chandragupta Maurya would ultimately defeat Seleucus Nicator and conquer a large part of both Takshila and Pakistan and Afghanistan. Megasthenes, the Greek Megasthenes, would be a Greek envoy, Greek Macedonian envoy in Bindusara's court. Ashoka would send Buddhist missionaries all over the world, and one of the Indo-Greek kings would convert to Buddhism. It's possible that Buddhism would actually influence some Stoic philosophers of Greece. Again, Greece and India, best bros for life. Overall, creative liberties are okay. I liked this. I'm going to play Total War for a while, but let's. I'm going to take a. I'm going to take a break in the future to read some more Amachitokata. But yeah, that was fun. Absolute cinema. Absolute peak fiction. Fiction it was, but it was peak fiction. But yeah. Let's actually play some Total War. Let's turn off the yeah, the Greeks arriving in the General Lee like the Dukes of Hazzard. Let's see. The Goths must be crushed. They must be driven from Thrace, for a large number of them are ravaging Hymemontum in Europe. Those very ones who fled when you fought against them. Alright, so... Alright. The God of War hates those who hesitate. This is taking longer than usual. Ancient Takshila lies at the pivotal junction of South and Central Asia. Owing to its central location, Takshila has changed many hands many times over the centuries, from Iranian to Indo-Greek and most recently Indian rule, with many empires vying for its control. From the 3rd century BCE, the Mauryan empires used Takshila as its provincial capital to expand their influence well into the reigns of Arcosia and beyond. Now that Alexander's heirs control the West, it is time to repay our ancient foes. Let's go. Bindusara, the father of Ashoka, the god of wars who hates those who hesitate. Now loading, exactly. Dhamma, Chandragupta, yep. Chandragupta died in 298 BC at the age of 86. I don't know if that's true or not, but... And here he is, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ashoka. Conqueror of Kalinga and... and pursuer of Dhamma. Vitashoka. I'm not sure who this guy is. I need to research. Takshilan families, Paliputra nobles... Saurashtan court. Alright. Bindusara, let's see what you can do. You have an efficient wife. That's good. It's still not really confirmed who Bindusara's father was. Who Bindusara's mother was. You know, I'm gonna look this up. Bindusara was... So according to Jain tradition, Bindusara's mother was a woman named Durdara. But there's no real record of who Bindusara's mother was. So was Bindusara as mother Chandragupta's the daughter of Seleucus Nicator? Was Ashoka a quarter Greek? You can't. Nobody can prove it, but nobody can prove that he wasn't. I don't know. As a enthusiast of both Greek and Indian history, it would be sort of wish fulfillment to believe that yes, Ashoka was part Greek. So let's see. He is hope. The gods look after the people. They always do. Egotistic. Maharaja, a wise man once said that with power comes great responsibility. Do not misuse it, for it will be your undoing. Interesting. So the government is actually called, alright. Spread Buddhism to the remote parts of your empire. Request reinforcements. Accomplishing your... I have never actually seen this before. Alright. This is very new. Alright. Chandragupta, would you get the fuck out of here if I gave you 4,000 elephants? Yes? Okay, bye. Yes, people don't actually... this is often left out of the story of... of Chandragupta's peace treaty with Seleucus. Seleucus got a very good deal by receiving those elephants, because elephants were basically the tanks of the ancient world. And yes, some of those elephants did ultimately make it to Greece and were used by what's his name? King Pyrrhus to fight the Romans at Asculum. So let's see. We currently have -9 in public order because of 70% Persian culture. All right, we can fix that. Let's build a Eastern wrestling area. All right. Wrestling has always been an essential part of Indian heritage. According to legend, and before killing his rival Kamsa, Krishna, the avatar of Vishnu, defeated his champion, Kamsa's champion, in a wrestling match. Fish. All right. I want to say no to this. Spice. So spices. I often say when I point to curry powder, see this? This is the thing that the British killed millions of my people to get. All right. All good start. So, are we at war with anyone right now? Asagartha. These are Persians. These are also... Alright, so we are going to try to make it all the way, and long term, we are going to try to make it all the way to Macedonia and the British. Worth it. It absolutely was. I don't even like Indian food that much, but I once committed sacrilege against my ancestors by making a burger and putting curry powder and turmeric in it, and it was delicious. Uh, Sorry, my people. Sorry, Krishna ji, but cows, the sacred cows have done have the sacred cows have passed their blessing on to me by entering my stomach. Yep. Um, Actually, not necessarily. Beef curry and like beef curry and curry is actually very common in Pakistan, right? In Pakistan, there's actually a place near me that makes chapli burgers, which are like burgers with a chutney sauce, because it's Pakistani cuisine. Um, but yeah, so let's see what we can build. Indian reserve elephants. Reserve elephants. Elephants. Tier 3 conscripted, Tier 3 common folk elephants. I am going to absolutely steamroll the competition. Anyways, let's see what else we got. Two-handed axemen, not bad. No, not bad. And one of the avatars of Vishnu, Parashurama, wielded a axe that was named after him, Parashu, a long two-handed axe with a groove at the top that can be used to grapple enemy weapons. Either way, I want as many anyways, I want as many I want a front line of nobody with shields. Alright, who are my defensive troops? Ah, there we are. Mauryan spearmen. Let's do it. Let's get a front line of peasant troops. And let's get a Eyes of the King. +2 public order. Alright. I don't mind. This looks nice. Brothel worker. It's surprising what you can learn when you're staring at the ceiling. Alright. Wasn't expecting that. Is that how he gets increases public order? That's interesting. He's also egotistic and a strategist. Okay. And let's also get I get a pretty big from the income like this that will only get bigger. Yeah, let's get a governor. He is a astrologer. Yeah, that makes sense. The Indians loved the stars and the planets well into the Mughal times. Mughal times, to the point where the Mughal Emperor Humayun actually dressed in red on I forget, I think it was Tuesdays, is after the planet Mars. Alright, so, alright, next turn. And, let's see, I do want a champion eventually. So I remember seeing a meme about the regarding Indian Independence Day. I remember seeing a meme about people celebrating in Algeria after winning the war against France and gaining independence. And someone said, "Of course they're happy. They're celebrating the fact that they no longer need to be French." Well, that's what us Indians do. Today we are celebrating the fact the day when we were no longer British. No, just kidding. And Britain is honestly, to be honest, I know this is going my. To be honest, I know my Indian my Indian like relatives would hate me for this, but after studying the Anglo-Maratha Wars, I gained an incredible, a really unhealthy respect for the British, because the British, traditionally the British have had balls of steel, be it the bayonet charges and cavalry charges at the Battle of Assaye, or Horatio Nelson losing his arm and continuing to fight at the Battle of Trafalgar. The British would be willing to dive through a ring of fire for their king and country. So, and also remember the Giga Chad that was Clement Attlee, who also created the NHS in Britain, was the one who ultimately agreed to give India its independence. Winston Churchill would not have done that, and if Winston Churchill had actually won re-election, then India would have rose up in armed revolt, and things would have gotten very ugly. So, big ups to British bros. Let's get some more spearmen. Good, healthy front line. Historically, the mace, known as the Gada, was very popular weapons among knights. So yeah, whether or not maces were regularly used in battle by infantry is debatable, but yes, the mace is a very important, it has a very important symbolism in Indian folklore. It was the weapon of one of the most famous Indian mythical heroes, Bhima. Faction encounter, the Hike, the Armenians. You know, let's see if we can arrange any trade deals. Zaranka. Ooh, copper. I might need that. Silver. Alright. Let's see if we can trade with these guys. Guess not. Why does nobody want to trade? Why does... Alright. Oh, that's more like it. Why does nobody want to trade me? Especially these guys. You can't eat lead. Just kidding, you can totally eat lead. Lead, it's not very healthy, but yes, you can indeed eat lead. Okay. So, I think I recently read that England wouldn't have had the chance to keep India after World War II, because with the amount of military equipment they had, Indians would have easily defeated them. And this turned out to be very accurate considering what happened with Egypt. Yeah, exactly. Britain was in an enormous amount of debt to the US. They could not have afforded to hold down India. But yes, horrible atrocities would have happened on both sides. And again, Clement Attlee was very smart and very kind for seeing the writing on the wall and gracefully bowing out of the Age of Empire, unlike France. France really fucked up. No, the thing is, France is interesting because France is one of the most historically has been one of the most successful countries in maintaining their empire. Like the island of Mayotte off the coast of in the island chain of Comoros is actually still part of France. It's not even a colony. Like, it's not like Puerto Rico where it's technically a colony where they aren't even allowed to vote in elections. But Mayotte is a full-on department or state of France, to the point that they can vote in the presidential elections. They were given the opportunity for independence, but they wanted to remain French. Same thing with French Guiana or the French Indies. There's something. I know we make fun of French all the time, but clearly there is something very attractive about being French that made enough people want to stay. Alright, the faction. French Guiana is part of France. They vote in everything. Exactly. Okay. Let's attack this place first. Let's get some archers, some Indian levy longbowmen. Oh, longbowmen, alright. Do I have anyone who can embezzle? Let me see. Not Ashoka, not Dhamma. No good. Not like Puerto Rico, the colony of Gringolandia, exactly. What mount do these guys does Bindusara have, I wonder? Okay, so character personality report. Bindusara is okay, so Mauryan armored chariots. Yeah, that's the thing about India. India, they held on to chariots well into the late BCs. They just refused to let it go because of how important it was to them culturally. And of course, they crashed and burned during the battle with the battles with the Greeks, but you know, it's as looking good. You can't actually truly go into battle without the finest of drip. Sparabara, Hippocontes and Distai, Hyrcanian Hillmen. Alright. Yeah, that's the thing. The home of Red Sonia in the home of Red Sonia in the Hyborian Age, Hyrcania. It's a real place. A lot of the places in Hyrcania a lot of the places in the Hyborian Age, like Kush, Hyrcania, Cimmeria, they're all real places. They were all real places, or at least there are places that were named after them, like Cimmeria in the Hyborian age isn't actually in Central Asia. It's near Scotland, but okay. A decent number of them have actually died from heat stroke, I guess. Let's take them on. So, alright, these guys will be my... these peasant spearmen will be my flanking unit. Alright, let's win this battle and then let's read some more Amarchita Kata. By the way, I'm going to get a little controversial here, but this is it's an interesting time to be celebrating on stream in the VTuber sphere Indian Independence Day, because I've noticed on Twitter, I've noticed a growing amount of, I don't know, interesting takes in India. Like, I've only recently heard the term Pajit. Like, I have never heard this term before, but the term Pajit apparently is a thing. I'm not going to go too deep into politics or government policy, but I want to clear up a few misconceptions about India. First of all, India actually has a very low crime rate, or at least violent crime rate. India, yeah, sure, a lot of it goes unreported, but in terms of violent crimes such as murder and assaults, India is actually on the lower end. Yes, Indians participate in a lot of scams. They evade taxes. They evade taxes. They do a bunch of other things. I don't know if they do insurance fraud or not, but they don't have Indians love money, but they don't have a culture of malice. Like, they don't hate each other to the point where they'll just go around stabbing or beating each other up. Yes, some pretty horrible crimes have happened in India that are often blasted across the internet, but India contains a fifth of the world's population. Of course, some scary shit is gonna happen there. Antigonus crosses the Hellespont and defeats the Celts under the command of Kerethrius at the Battle of Lysimachia near Lysimachia at the neck of the Thracian Kernones. After this success, he is acknowledged by the Macedonians as their king. I've noticed a lot of people dogpiling in Indians, yeah. Yeah, I mean, another thing, the thing people don't realize, in America, Indians are actually the highest, the ethnic group with the highest incomes. Not, I mean, per capita on average, the ethnicity with the highest incomes is actually Taiwanese, but the ethnicity with the highest, ethnic group with the highest median incomes is actually Indians. Now, obviously, there's a reason for that, because a lot of most of the Indians who have wasn't an ex-Niji full-on racist towards Indians? Yes, I've heard about that. One person who just, I don't know, lost her mind and went on like a racist, sexist rant on off screen. I'm not going to comment too much on that, because after the Doki Bird incident, I have stayed far away from Niji Sanji, except for Aya Mare. Aya is my bae. I don't know if that sounds weird, but yeah. So Let's take him on.
War, my friend, not my enemy. War is an expensive business.
I'm
Sure you can pay the blood reckoning.
Huh. Alright.
Besieging settlement. Ready for orders.
Is this a nah, I'd win moment? It might be. I think this might be. This might actually be a nah, I'd win moment. And one thing I will always point out that about people who dogpile on Indians online. Some very powerful people in America right now are Indians. The CEO of Google, the CEO of Microsoft, the director of the FBI. So what are you doing? 5,000 versus is this a nah, I'd win moment? It most certainly is. I'm gonna have to be careful about their command cavalry because Indians contributing to American culture, like the guy who played guitar in Sum 41 or the one who appears in Harold and Kumar. Oh, and M. M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah. He's made, you know what? You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Unbreakable was pretty decent. I saw Unbreakable. I've seen The Sixth Sense. They were actually pretty decent. I was little when I saw when I saw Unbreakable, The Sixth Sense, and that one scene where the kid says, "Hey, come on, I'll show you where my dad keeps his gun." And then he turns around, there's like a big hole in the back of his head. Yeah, that really freaked me out. He had some good days. I think he gets a little too much flack because he absolutely... he gets a little too much flack because of the film that shall not be named. So one thing I will note is that that Indians historically did not fight in really close-knit formations. Historically, they were mostly known for their really spread out irregular formations and guerrilla warfare. One of their favorite historical formations has been the semicircle formation, which is how which is to this day how they defeated the Pakistanis in one of the most famous tank battles. I keep on forgetting the name of one of the most important tank battles in Indian history. But it was largely won through a semicircle charge. And light elephants. That's an oxymoron. Yeah, we got this. We got this. Oh, 4 speed. Very nice. I'm going to keep my chariots right here so I can... Maceman. Very nice. And let's lock this formation. No, let me look this up. Largest tank battle in post-World War II history. No, not the Battle of Kursk. After World War II, India. Oh, the Battle of Asal Uttar. Perfect. This is actually one of the most interesting historical battles because of the way it was won. What happened is the Pakistanis were advancing on the town of Asal Uttar, and what the Indian tank battle did is they lured the Pakistani tanks into a rice field, and which they flooded, and then surrounded them in semicircle formation, which they were able to use to win. And another interesting thing is the tanks they used. Pakistan was an Indian ally, an American ally at the time, because they were perceived as anti-communist, while Indians were an ally of the Soviet Union. So the Pakistanis used American tanks, and the Indians used Russian tanks. Okay.
Enemy reinforcements approaching.
All right, here they come. The same day, they take honor in fighting in the same manner as the ancient Vedic Aryan heroes of bygone days, an attempt to equal the bravery of Krishna and Arjuna in battle. Okay. What are we looking at? There is a rock here. Actually, I wonder if I can... No, it's probably too late. So, I wonder if I can... Let's withdraw and use this rock to protect us from flanking forces. What do these guys have? Do they have bows, or do they have four horses? Yeah. Generally, when horses were when chariots were used in the later period, in the later period, be it Indian chariots or the Pontic Scythe chariots, there were 4 horses instead of 2. Spears and wait, do they have bows or do they have javelins? Yeah, I think it's javelins. It's a long line, alright. So, and then they have cavalry on this side. Might not be able to overwhelm them with semicircle formation. Or can I? No, I can't. Might not be able to surround them, I mean. We could do a wedge formation. The opposite. Alright, this works. Let's get our archers right here. We can afford to put them a little further back because of their longbows. Yeah, we got this. I'm going to put these guys a little further up to protect their right sides, because the right sides are always the strongest, are always the weakest, because weakest in the shield wall. Are they all moving to the right? Are they all gathering on the right? Okay, I'm gonna pull my elephants back. Okay. Maybe I will get to use that semicircle formation after all. Alright. I'm going to pull these guys back. Okay. Oh man, this is gonna be a bloodbath. Okay, they are trying to flank me. Ah, too slow. Alright, yeah, this is totally winnable.
Missile infantry ready. Infantry at your command. We await your orders. We are at your command. At speed. At the ready. Ready. Onward.
Alright, let's see if I can brace against them. Yes. Okay.
What are your orders, my lord? Spears ready. We await your orders. Orders, my lord. Chariots await. We are at your
Alright, the cavalry are down.
our order. Riders at the double. We await your orders. We are at your command.
Alright, let's get those. No, I don't want to get my mace men in just yet. Okay. Careful. I am going to rush them and clear them out.
Our general is under attack.
Alright, shattered. Perfect.
Our aim is true. Missile infantry ready. Bring them! Double time! Dazzling men!
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Alright, let's get our flankers in.
We await your orders.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Ah, crap, my morale is shit.
What are your orders? Dazzling men! We are at your command. We understand.
Just going to clear out all these archers.
We await your orders.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Run, bitch! Run!
Right out! Forward! Chariots await! Play forward!
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display. Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Let them down!
Alright, they are shattered.
Orders!
I'll just... Do I dare actually charge these guys? No, probably not. Okay.
As you command, chariot! Quickly now! Awaiting order! Ready to be! Our aim is true! Marching order! Quick march!
Oh crap. These spearmen are not breaking.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is
Not
a
immediately, at least.
At the ready!
Alright, I'm gonna go for it.
Caravans ready for battle!
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Chariots at the ready! As you command! Caravans at the ready! Engage! Your chariots await! We understand! We are at your command!
Okay, that worked.
Release our glory! Dazzling men! What are your orders?
Let's get rid of these archers. How do you use chariots in Total War? That unit just disappeared, exactly. Yeah, you basically... basically what you do is you clear out light units. Elephants and chariots are a deadly combination.
Your chariots await! For glory! For honor and glory!
Oh no.
Shut them down!
These heavy horse archers didn't break.
Flee the field of
I need to get out.
This is a shameful display.
Okay, they're
Men flee the
not
field of
pursuing.
battle. This is a shameful display.
I'm gonna do it again.
We fight!
Nah, I'd win. Oh, he's falling back, alright.
Our men flee
Oh,
the
no,
field of battle.
Bindasara is fleeing.
Shameful display.
Ready for battle! Elephants!
One of our units has gone berserk.
Oh, Berserk, alright. That works.
What are your orders? Dazzling men!
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
At the ready! Shut them down!
Yeah, that's it.
Our men flee the field of battle.
Yeah, that was indeed a nah, I'd win moment. Anyways, they probably can't pursue me just because of how many of them, of their garrison I've killed. But yeah, that's what chariots and it's basically do. They make light units just disappear. Yeah, he's not pursuing. Okay, this is not good. What does he have left, I wonder? Yeah, these things, these Sparabara, these things got hands. Alright, so let's get... Okay, these things are absolutely useless. Let's get some... These tribesmen, these long spearmen are actually pretty decent, though. Let's get some of those. Let's also get... some... Indian tribal slingers. Let's get another unit of longbowmen. Let's get some more spearmen. Yeah, yes. I just took on an army that was like nearly twice as large as mine, and I will do it again. Maybe I'll try attacking their other city now. Okay, can't do that. Can't stop there. There's desert. Okay, let's... Yavana Peltas. Oh, Greek. Yavana was the name used for the Greeks. So I can actually get some Greek Peltas. Very nice. I think I will actually take some of these. Let's see, can I... So yeah, these Yavana Peltas are basically Greek immigrants. And or possibly the descendants, or possibly the children of the soldiers of Alexander himself. All right. So, funny story, the story of how Ashoka actually conquered Kalinga. So, Kalinga is a small territory making up central east, the central east coast of India. And despite the fact that Ashoka controlled the majority of India at that point, Kalinga was very hard to take on just because of their mastery of the terrain and their expert defenses. So, according to legend, Ashoka was walking through his territory when he saw a little boy and his mother. His mother was teaching the little boy how to eat rice and curry with his, because Indians eat rice and curry with their hand. So the little boy said said that the rice was too hot, and he couldn't eat it. And the mother said, "Start with the rice at the is outside on the outside of the plate, and it and gradually move inwards." And then Ashoka says, "Now I have it." So he specifically attacked the outskirts of their the outskirts of Kalinga, surrounding it, gradually surrounding it, and gradually moving inwards until they had nothing left to defend themselves. At which point he destroyed them. All right, across the desert. Although only 3 elephants. I think I will replace him with Ashoka, Bindusara's son. Alright, what should we give this guy? Okay, I'm going to besiege this territory, so this town, so let's give him some infantry, Mauryan Imperial infantry.
We fight for you, my lord.
Okay, I think I'm safe if I just take this territory first, and then go south. Yeah, I think they're. I've destroyed too much of their forces for them to come and attack me first. Shunga Maurya, it is Vitashoka's son. Also, let's see.
None will escape.
Yeah, this should be fairly straightforward. Oh, they've actually sallied out to the field. Alright, that makes things a lot simpler. Let's see, let's once again arrange them in a line. This time, however, let's do,
Javelin men! Javelin men!
alright, and
Swordsman! Our orders! Orders, my lord!
All right, I think this is a. All right, I think we got this. All right, let's take a look at our troops. You know what? On second thought, I'm actually gonna I'm gonna pull my elephants back. I'm going to. I don't want them to get hurt. Hurt. There are too few of them. I'm gonna withdraw them. Alright, so... Nice. Chainmail infantry. And scale mail. I don't know if... what else did? We have our... basic spearmen. We have our... tribesmen. Alright, almost there. The archers are eventually going to... Alright, I'm gonna start running them forward just because... Yeah, I'm gonna start running them forward just because they're gonna start shooting at me now. Alright, let's flank them.
Our general is under attack.
Alright, this is pretty straightforward. Pulling them back a little.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
And...
One of our units has used all its ammunition. One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Alright, yep, that's a win. These tribesmen are actually really strong with their two-handed lances. They're kind of like the young Mycenaean lances in Pharaoh dynasties. Same thing with the what is it? The peltasts. Yeah, they're very good. Like these peltasts, normally Mycenaean factions would actually have to use tier 2 infantry, the middle class, in order to build them. But I can spend and foreigners on them instead. Yeah, these tribes have hands. All right, I am Ashoka. Before my pursuit of Dhamma, I am going to pillage these idiots.
We fight for you, my lord.
Is this a... Oh, what do you know? It's a wonder. A fortress made from the earth. Arg-e-Bam Citadel. There's no precise archaeological dating of buildings to Citadel of Bam. The first human settlement in the area can be traced back to the fort made by the Achaemenians around. Some of the Citadel's features, such as the establishment on a platform containing a natural hilltop and a man-made terrace, have been compared by archaeologists to the Achaemenid model of Persepolis. I see it's an ancient Persian city. Very cool. Alright, let's get... first of all, let's upgrade this. What can I get now? Oh, armored archers, alright. Dravidian mercenaries. Longbow and two-handed weapons, very nice. Mauryan armored spearmen, and who else? Alright, seems fair. Let's do it. And let's also get a champion. Ashoka Maurya, Sunita Maurya, Maurya. Alright, let's see what you can do. Cheerful. Trader. So I should be able to... Do I want any of these guys gone? 7 cunning. It's not that important, but Researching technologies. So I need wine for an eastern polo pitch. Kanat. What is Kanat? Okay. Again, I just want to see if I can conquer this one town, then we will move the city, then we will move to reading some more Amachitagata. And then we are going to... I think for the Amachitagata we're going to read next, it is probably going to be about one of the most important and somewhat controversial revolutionaries of India, Bhagat Singh. Okay, so... Let's see, can I take this guy down? 25% of wounding him, alright.
I am yours to command. I will see it done by any means.
Wait. Oh, I see. Not too close. Not close enough, alright. Alright, let's get Bindusara back out. Bindusara and his chariot, trusty chariot. Alright, let's build an army of, once again... No, in a battle of spears, they'll win. I need to... Stretching. Alright, going to build an army once again, mostly of peasants. Alright, waiting, waiting, waiting. Comis. Does anyone have wine? Because apparently I need that. Ah, I see, the Armenians do. Alright, let's try to make it up there and make friends with the Armenians. Okay, can I actually take this guy down? Oh! I wounded him, alright. Alright, but this guy is actually off to a good start. This guy's journey to being the best the finest hired killer is getting off to a good start. Alright, a bit more waiting, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. Huh? Is he coming? Alright. No, he's standing guard. Okay, they're finally replenishing. That's good. Let's see, let's get some... Let's get some longbowmen. Wait. I'm out of Shudras. Shit. I'm out of peasants. Fuck. Alright. Alright, we'll have to... I'm out of peasants. Never thought I'd see the day.
At your service.
Okay, so yeah, after I get rid of these of this Persian and satrap, there are two more things I'm going to do. We are going to read the Samarchita Katha about Bhagat Singh, and then we are going to watch a very special video asking an important question about Indians. Huh, alright, they're attacking. They're coming north. Let's see. You'll see. You'll see. The most important question Indians need to ask themselves. Okay. Let's give him... Let's get some swordsmen. Researching technologies. I would like to research water sluicing. Okay, this might actually be somewhat of a tough one because eventually I'm going to have to deal with those rebels also. Okay, he's falling back. He knows I'm coming. Alright, those rebels are dealt with, but unfortunately I lost some elephant. It's annoying.
Ready for further orders. Ready for
Huh?
orders. Make haste, men.
Ah, these elephants cannot catch a break.
I think not, my lord. At your command, my lord.
Okay, so alright, we're going to do the. This is going to be a glorious battle. Round 2. I wonder. Apparently, the Prince of Persia game begins with the conquest of an Indian city. Where the Prince of Persia captures an Indian city and like marries a Indian princess or something. I don't know. That's the Sands of Time. Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. I want to actually. No, I don't know what exactly how it works, but I wonder. Is there like a? Is there like a version of the Sands of Time for PC? I wouldn't mind trying that out before Ubisoft became Ubislop. All right. Let's do this. Alright, it is a slope. Okay, let's come from the top. Alright, so... Alright, so I will just charge my light spearmen forward and then run the and then flank them with my tribesmen. Should be pretty straightforward.
We are at your command. We await your order.
Okay, I'm gonna keep my archers all on one side so they can shoot from above, from the top of the slope. Alright, gonna keep my spearmen at the top of a hill.
Awaiting orders. Chariots are ready. Missiles at your command. Double time.
Alright, where are their archers? I want to make sure that I know where they are because with the tribesmen, a decent amount of my army doesn't have shields. Do they not have that many archers? Huh. Wait, are the hold on a second. Eastern Spearmen, are these? I won't call them the Pajama Men, but they're the infamous Pajama Men from Rome 1, but because they don't have onesies.
Orders, my lord. At speed. We are at your command.
Okay.
We await your orders. What are your orders?
The Sparabar are throwing their javelins.
Ready. By your command. Our orders. For glory.
These Eastern Spearmen are gonna get chopped apart. They have like no skill and no discipline. Oh, I see. They're chariot archers.
Awaiting orders. Double time.
The chariot, the chariot charge is going at rush is going to be the thing that makes or breaks this.
We are at your command.
We await your command. By your command. Order. Orders. Fire! My lord. At ready. Men of Persia.
units has used all its ammunition.
Alright, unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet with their cavalry running down my...
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Alright, here come the chariots. Alright, going to just shoot arrows into the back from now for now.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful.
Careful. Wait, did the Indian, did these Indians just say Strategos? Alright. Apparently these chariots can do a Cantabrian circle. Okay, we'll do that. Alright, let's see how that works. Well, this is kind of interesting.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Why aren't they shooting? Okay, they're tired, they're winded. I'm not doing this yet. I'm not charging yet. Not yet. Have to do it at the last minute. Okay, their own spear infantry are coming in. I have to do it pretty soon. I have to charge pretty soon. Okay. Why are these big guys breaking? Not yet. Okay, okay. Almost, almost. And then I can sweep to the side.
field of battle. This is a shameful display.
We await your orders. Riders, advance! Ready to meet! Horsemen! Your chariots await!
I have to do it. Screw it.
Prepare to engage!
If Bindusara dies from this, then Ashoka can take over and fulfill India's destiny.
Riders, advance! Return! Pull back!
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display. Our general is under attack.
Alright, that's a mass rout if I ever saw one. Except for this unit. Nope, they're not breaking. That's not good. No, no, almost. Come on. Yes! Okay, that was a risky charge, but it paid off.
One of our units has used all its ammunition. Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display. The battle is turning in our favor. Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display. Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Okay. Yeah, it's that. This is it. That's a win. All that's left is there.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Damn, these Persians have absolute balls. The balls on these men.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display. The enemy general is dead.
Yep, costly victory. The field is littered with the bodies of dead lower caste peasants. Although, to be fair, at this point in history, caste wouldn't have been, the caste system wouldn't have been very solidified. It would have been, caste would have been a lot more fluid, like, a lot more fluid, and there would have been a lot of, like, social mobility. It's only in the Gupta Empire in, like, late antiquity when caste would have been a lot more solidified. All right, 571 troops killed by my chariots.
Gathering supplies, my lord.
Okay.
I'm afraid we cannot. We fight for you, my lord. We fight for you, my lord. Ready for battle. At your command. We take this settlement for you, my lord. My lord. On the move, my lord. Kill them all!
For now, I think I'm going to besiege them just because I want this unit, the remnants of their unit army out of the way. All right, what should I? Let's make him a logistician. Uh, okay, almost there. Almost there. All right, waiting for the turns to go by.
Your people, although they do not know it yet, will find our merchandise most wondrous. Why deny them?
All right, now that everyone's getting scared, so they want to be my friends. All right, that's that's them out of the way.
On the move, my lord. Ready for battle. Advance.
Okay, let's build a besieging force.
Laying siege to the settlement. Besieging settlement. Attack! Ready for
One more turn. Okay. Waiting.
have recruited so many units, the treasury is buckling under the weight.
Alright, let's exchange units.
On the move, my lord. Attack! My lord. Our honor and great glory. To fight for you, my lord.
Let's merge.
To victory! Ready?
I'll take these guys.
Advance! Kill them all! My lord.
You know what, I'm gonna fight this out. In theory, I could just auto-resolve, but I want to see how this plays out. Alright, this is it. The Battle of Harmosia.
We await you.
Oh, not much distance to the walls. That's good.
We are at your command. Orders, my lord. Yes, at your orders. We are at your command. Orders, my lord.
I'm gonna put my shielded spearmen and make my shielded spearmen push the ladder so that they can just be prepared.
Your orders. Ready. At ready. Under your orders. Orders, my lord. Noble swordsman. Orders, my lord.
And yeah, this is probably going to be a bloodbath, but you know what? That's war. That's how it is.
Our spear guns. What are your orders? We are at your command.
Our reinforcements have arrived.
What are your orders? Follow me. Downstairs, señor. Double dive. Orders, my lord. Orders ready.
Huh. Those are very large spears. You know, I'll shields. I'll let them go forward.
Advance at speed at the ready.
All right, ladders on the walls.
Waiting order. Take him over. Melee infantry.
All right, let's go. Let the siege begin. Alright, first over the walls.
Spears at your command. At the ready! Flee for honor!
No, you know what? I need to get rid of these archers.
What are your orders? We are at your command. Spill their blood! At the command! Help us! To all engage! We await your orders. Quick foot! Spearmen! Shot engage!
Alright.
At the ready! At the ready!
The men are wavering.
Engage! Our orders!
Alright, my general is scaling the walls.
Spears at your command! At the blood bloody!
Alright, let's get some archers on the walls.
We await your orders! We await your orders! We await your orders!
And...
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Alright, the townfolk are trying their best, but... I don't know. Sorry, innocent townfolk, but I need stream content.
We are at your command! Spears at your command! What are your orders? Lead them! Waiting orders! Shatter them!
The battle is turning in our favor.
We await your orders! We are at your command! We await your orders!
Okay, yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I just wanted to do it in order to... I really just wanted to do it in order to...
Chariots! At the ready! What are your orders?
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Orders, my lord! At the ready! We await your orders! Orders!
Alright, I'm just gonna fast forward the rest. Phalanx infantry as a garrison is always really helpful.
We have captured the gates.
Spears are yours.
What I like to do in these battles is often focus on like one soldier at a time and see how long he survives. Alright, he's being very careful. I guess he's tired. Come on, you can do it.
Already. Hide in the skies.
Alright, that should be it. Alright, decisive victory. Did I lose fewer than I would if I had auto-resolved? I think so. Anyways, I didn't lose my elephant, so that's good. Wait for that wisest of counselors' time. What can a warrior do who charges when out of breath? I know what they can do. They can serve as a human shield, which is still pretty useful for me.
You have further orders?
Alright, alright, this entire province is mine, so... Like I said, I'm going to end the Rome 2 part of my stream, however, there still are a few things I want to do. So, let's just save. And... Huh? How do I quit? Huh? Can I not quit? Alright. Okay, now let's go back to Internet Archive. Bhagat Singh Amar Chitrakata. Alright. So, from what I know about Bhagat Singh is is a controversial figure because he did commit murder. He, in order to avenge the death of a fellow revolutionary, he killed he assassinated a British police officer, thinking that he was responsible, but it was actually a mistake. He accidentally killed the wrong person. In addition, in addition, despite the fact that he's often I don't know, claimed by Indian nationalists and Hindu nationalists, he was an atheist, and he was also a communist. So, very controversial figure, but there are statues of him, and he's definitely seen as, to some degree, a martyr for... Alright, Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh sang gustily as he walked to the gallows. Oh, wait, let me bring it up. Bhagat Singh. Right. Bhagat Singh sang gustily as he walked to the gallows. Backed by a courageous family, this 23-year-old firebrand and was wedded to death. A free India was his heaven, and the martyrs of the freedom struggle were his gods. Using disguise and guile, persuasion and force, his life was a roller coaster ride through an unjust system. But eventually, he awakened India and the world to the idea of liberty, and brought the mighty British Raj to its knees. September 27th, 1907, in the village of Banga, near Lahore, the birth of a baby brought joy to the otherwise gloomy household of Gardar Kishan Singh. Vidyavati looked fondly at her baby. "I wish your father and uncles were here today." Vidyavati's husband, Kishan Singh, and his two brothers were then in jail for opposing the British rule in India. Soon after, Kishan, mother. Kishan Singh and his youngest brother, Swaran Singh, could come home because they were released on bail, but Singh, the second brother, was already serving a sentence in the Mandalay jail in Burma. Just then, "A telegram, sir." "It's from Mandalay. Ajit has been released. My grandson, you are the lucky one. You are the Bhaganwala, the lucky one." So the baby, they claim that the baby brought luck to the point that all of these brothers were released. "Kishan, when is Ajit coming home?" "Well, I'm not immediately, I'm afraid. He has left for Germany." Months went by. "Why doesn't my son come home? Mother, please try to understand. The moment Ajit returns, he'll be jailed again on some pretext or another." "I understand. But my poor daughter-in-law, who will wipe her tears?" As time went on by, Ajit Singh's exile had its impact on little Bhagat Singh. "Mother, why does Auntie weep all the time?" "She misses your uncle." "Why doesn't he come home then?" "He can't, my son. Our country is ruled by the British. Your uncle wants them to leave India and go to their own country." Vidyavati told her son how the people were struggling for their freedom. Little Bhagat Singh ran to his aunt. "Auntie, don't weep. When I grow up, I'll drive the British out and bring uncle home. But the British are very strong. They have guns and cannons. Don't worry, I too will get guns." "My brave child." Later that evening, as Kishan Singh was strolling through his estate with a friend. "What are you planting, Bhagat Singh?" "Rifles." "Rifles? Why rifles?" "To free my country." "That's right, money doesn't grow on trees, but guns certainly do." "Yes, Bhagat Singh, we need rifles to liberate our land, and we need brave boys like you." Bhagat Singh was later first sent to the village school. Later in 1916, he joined the DAV school in Lahore. He was looked upon by his friends as a leader. Easy utterances, but difficult is the servants of the nation. For the path of patriotism has countless torments. "Bhagat, why do you always sing this song?" "Because it is used to be Shahid Kartar Singh Sarabha's favorite song." Bhagat Singh worshipped Kartar Singh Sarabha, who had died a martyr at 20. "He is my hero." In 1919, when Bhagat Singh was 12 years old, the government passed the infamous Rowlatt Act. "Bhagat Singh, what is this Rowlatt Act? Do you know? I am told it empowers the government to send a man to jail without trial. No court, no judge. Just pick the man up and lock him in." Bhagat Singh, you know so much about the police and jail. That's not surprising. My father and uncles were in jail. Their crime? They loved our motherland, the Shaheed Kartar Singh did. Under the leadership of Gandhiji, people throughout the country protested against the roll attack with demonstrations and meetings. Vande Mataram! At one such meeting held at Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar. Oh, I see. This is the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar, with the turning point in the Indian freedom struggle, which woke up India to the injustice of the British. When the British under Colonel Dyer fired into a crowd of innocent protesters. It was a massacre that shocked the country. Hundreds of people have been killed and many more injured. How could General Dyer fire at unarmed people? Jallianwala Bagh, the holy place anointed with the blood of patriots. I must go there on a pilgrimage. Bhagat Singh visited Jallianwala Bagh. God, this was a death trap. The bullet embedded in these walls will remain here forever, a memorial to the martyrs. Bhagat Singh collected some of the red earth. The earth will inspire me to sacrifice everything for the cause. The massacre at Jallianwala Bagh stirred the consciousness of the nation. Gandhiji launched the non-cooperation movement. Gandhiji has given a call to stop paying taxes and boycott schools and colleges aided by the government. He's right. We should have no truck with this alien government. Bhagat Singh joined the National College founded by the patriotic citizens. It was here he came into contact with Sukhdev. What are you reading? A book on the history of the revolution. Do you think we will have revolution here in India? Yes, when we succeed in arousing the people. How will you do that? Our people are illiterate and they find long speeches tiresome. I know what they like most, plays and music. Bhagat Singh began to act in plays like Rana Pratap, staged by the National Dramatic Club. Defending one's motherland is a sacred task. We'll do it to the last drop of our blood. No sacrifice is too big for freedom. Then one day, what's the matter, Bhagat? My family wants me to get married to please my grandmother. This is the second letter from him on the subject. What will be your answer? That as long as my country is held in slavery, the only bride I will embrace is death. He is married to his country, but Bhagat, to Mother India. But Bhagat, your grandmother will not. I know. That's why I've decided to run away. Bhagat Singh went to Kanpur and met Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi, a great patriot. Sir, I have come to Kanpur to escape getting married. I have one passion, to set my country free. Your passion is like that of the moth for the flame. It could prove fatal. I am not unaware of that, sir. And Bhagat Singh began to work for Vidyarthi Pratap's press, which specialized in nationalist literature. He joined the Hindustan Republic Association. We must educate our people on the need for freedom. Leave that to us, sir. Bhagat Singh did not waste any time. One Dussehra day, he and his companions, 5 companions, attended a local fair and began to distribute leaflets. So one thing I will constantly point out that India was originally an assembly of separate states, and even at this time under the British Raj, many parts of India were not technically part of Britain. They were part of client states of the British, states run by Nawabs and princes. So, but the injustice of the British ultimately caused the people of the British Raj to unite, and that is what made modern India. Wake up, my brothers, wake up, read this. Soon after, they collected a huge crowd. Unfortunately, these attracted the attention of a few policemen in plain clothes. You want to wake up your fellow countrymen, do you? They have caught 2 of our friends. Don't worry. Bhagat Singh flung a bunch of leaflets in the opposite direction. When the crowd made a beeline for them, he went to the policeman. Look, those mischief mongers are still distributing leaflets. All of the other side to arrest the culprits. Went to the other side to arrest the culprits. Only 2 of them are left to guard our friends. The next moment, why don't you go and help your friends to arrest the miscreants? As Bhagat Singh and his friends sped away, we have been duped. Chase them. We are being chased. This should stop them. As anticipated, the frightened policeman gave up the chase. So he shoots a gun in the air to scare them away, since they aren't armed themselves. Bhagat Singh's stay in Kanpur came to an abrupt end. He had to leave for Lahore. His grandmother was seriously ill. You can go home without hesitation. Your father has set word that you will not be asked to get married. Bhagat Singh returned to Lahore and nursed his grandmother with great care and love, and she soon recovered. Those were the days when the Sikhs had launched a protest movement against British for deposing Ripudaman Singh, the Maharaja of Nabha. Bhagat, some Singh Jatas on their march to Jaito will be stopping at their village. I want you to look after their comforts. I will leave for Banga immediately. At the village, however, if we honor the Sikh Jatas, we will be inviting the wrath of the government. That should not deter us from offering our hospitality to the guests, uncle. Bhagat Singh had his way. Later, God bless you, son. You have taken great pains to make your stay comfortable. But the government, as expected, was annoyed. You better run, brother. Warrants has been issued for your arrest. Thank you for the tip. Oh, Vasilisa, it was thank you so much for coming. I'm coming. It was always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have you. I promise to place the interests of my country above those of my community. The Sabha worked for patriotic causes like the Swadeshi movement. The Sabha observed Martyrs' Day in memory of Ramprasad Bismil, of Ashfaqullah Khan and other revolutionaries who had been hanged by the government. Bishmilji and Afkola died at the gallows smiling. Our homage to them can only be in carrying on their fight for freedom. In September 1928, revolutionaries met from different parts of India. Met in Delhi. Chandrasekhar Azad, the head of Hindustan Republican Association, initiated discussion. This country is restless. Freedom is to be won, not begged for. We must organize ourselves for a war footing. I agree with you, Azad. At the conclusion of the meeting, now let's disperse. We must be careful. The police know that we are meeting in Delhi, although they don't know exactly where. Then, dressed as a police constable, Bhagat Singh left for Lahore. At the Delhi railway station, a police officer entered his compartment. What is your name? Which police station are you attached to, and why are you here? Sir, I'm Kartar Singh from Nihal Singh Wala Police Station. I escorted some prisoners to Delhi. Show me your railway pass. My colleague has gone to get it endorsed. I see. I don't think he believes, though. He's impersonating a cop. The police officer left the compartment. He's sure to check with the booking office. Bhagat Singh entered another compartment and locked himself up in the lavatory. As soon as the train began to leave the station, the police officer returned with a few constables and boarded it. The rogue must be somewhere here. Make a thorough search. When the train reached the next station, we have looked everywhere. We can't find him. Little did they realize that the man they were looking for was seated right there, with a copy of the Gita in his hand. On his return to Lahore, Bhagat Singh called a meeting of the Navjawan Bharat Sabha. What should be our stand on the Simon Commission? It does not have a single Indian member on it. The Simon Commission was appointed by the British to study the political situation of the country. We must join the all-parties procession against the visit of the Simon Commission. On October 30, 1928, a huge procession was taken out by Lala Lajpat Rai, the great leader from the Punjab. Go back! Simon Commission, go back! India for Indians! A police party stopped the procession near the railway station. Turn back and disperse. But Lalaji marched ahead, and the police resorted to a lathi charge. It is barbarous to attack unarmed, non-violent people. One lathi came down on the umbrella which Lalaji was holding. No! Bhagat Singh and his comrades threw a cordon around Lalaji, yet he was hit on the shoulder and chest. Late in the evening, do you know what Lalaji said? Yes, I do. The Lion of Punjab roared. I declare that every blow they hurled at us drove one nail into the coffin of the empire. Lalaji recovered from the blows he received. He died 2 weeks later. Lalaji's non-violence was rewarded with fatal blows. This governor understands the only one language, blood for blood. Chandrasekhar Azad now arrived in Lahore to discuss plans for revenge. Friends, we are fighting a war for independence. The British have soldiers, weapons, and unlimited resources. We have only the spirit of sacrifice. Oh, this is where it gets juicy. To avenge the death of one Indian, 10 Englishmen must die. And since Scotch, the superintendent of police, raised his lathi against Lalaji, he shall die first. On December 17th, 1928, Bhagat Singh and his comrade Lajguru took their positions near the police station. Ligopal will signal us as soon as Scott comes out. Ligopal, who just stationed himself opposite the police station, was pretending to repair his bicycle. Look, that officer is walking towards the motorcycle. Is he Scott? Yes, he's our man. Ligopal is single. Take aim then. Even as the white man was starting the motorcycle, he was hit with a volley of bullets. As Bhagat Singh and Rajguru ran towards the DEI police station, just opposite the police station, they were chased by a police constable. Keep running. Azad and Sukhdev will take care of him. Azad did not fail them. He was ready. One step forward and I'll shoot. Go back. The constable ignored the warning and paid for it with his life. So 2 people were shot that day. Meanwhile, Bhagat Singh and Rajguru had reached the quadrangle of the college. They went up to the first floor, entered a room, scrambled out of the window, slid down a water pipe, and mounting a bicycle there left for them, got away. Later, they realized that the man they killed was Saunders, the assistant superintendent of the police, and not a Scot. Never mind. He is also a white police official, a British imperialist. We must make that clear to the people. On the following day, notices appeared all over the city. We regret that a white man had to be killed, but he was part and parcel of the inhuman, unjust British rule which has to be destroyed. The whole of Punjab resounded with the news. Lalaji's murder has been avenged. Whoever is responsible for it, has erased the stigma of national insult. Meanwhile, police guards kept watch all over roads leading out of Lahore, as well as at the railway station. Watch out for the criminals. One of them is a young Sikh. Yes, sir. The attention of the police was focused on those who were traveling alone. They hardly noticed the Tonga, which brought a prosperous-looking family to the station. The elegantly dressed Sahib walked to the booking office window. His wife and child and servant followed. The Sahib bought the tickets, and the police let the party enter the platform. The Sahib and his wife boarded a first-class compartment, and the servant a third-class compartment. The birds had flown. The Sahib was none other than Bhagat Singh, who had shaved off his beard to avoid detection. The woman who posed as his wife was Durga Babi, the wife of a revolutionary, Bhagwati Charan. And the man was accompanying them was the servant, was Rajguru. Chandrasekhar Azad got away to Mathura, posing as a sadhu. Bhagat Singh then, meanwhile, had traveled eastwards to Calcutta. There he met Jatin Das, a revolutionary. Jatin, teach me how to make bombs. I need them. I will gladly help you. Later, a bomb manufacturing center was opened in Agra. At a meeting held there, the revolutionaries discussed their future course of action. The government is bent on getting the trade dispute bill and the public safety bill passed. These bills were meant to suppress the labor class and empower the government to jail anyone without giving a reason. The British want to crush us. The eyes of the British and Indian members of the assembly will have to be opened. But how? The day the bill is introduced, bombs should be thrown. We will make a noise loud enough to be heard by the deaf. Good idea, but make sure that the bomb hurts nobody. We must make plans to enter the assembly, throw the bomb, and escape. No! The one who throws the bomb should court arrest. Later, he should use the court as a platform to express our ideology, to rouse public opinion. Our arrest and subsequent trial will act as a reminder to the people of the daily people of the objectives they have before them. So on April 8th, when the Central Assembly met to discuss the bills, Bhagat Singh and his companion Batukeshwar Dutt stood up on the visitors' galley. Inkilab Zindabad! The bomb was thrown. It hurt nobody, leaflets through a tone. So this is the point where he has gotten tired of violence and wants to just make a scene, wants to just make noise without hurting anybody. He wants to be a martyr, not a killer. The two revolutionaries continued to shout slogans till the police came for them. They did not resist. Don't worry, we shall tell the whole world we did it. Bhagwat Singh and Dutt were taken to the police station. On the way, they passed the Tonga carrying Durga Babi, her husband, and their little son. Lame Chacha! Shachi, don't call him. Later in the magistrate's court, Asaf Ali, the lawyer, read out the statement prepared by Bhagat Singh. We dropped the bomb to register our protest on behalf of those who had no means left to give expression to their heartrending agony. Our sole purpose was to make the deaf hear and to give the heedless a timely warning. The two revolutionaries were sentenced to transportation for life. They filed an appeal in the High Court. General Dyer killed hundreds of persons in Jallianwala Bagh. He was given lakhs of rupees as a reward by his countrymen. In contrast, we throw a weak bomb ensuring that no one is hurt. We are tried and given a life sentence. Our motive was not to kill, but to make our ideals heard and expected. As expected, the High Court upheld the judgments of the Central Court. Later, Bhagat Singh was shifted to the Lahore Central Jail. He says, I would like some books. Books? Do you think this is a library? And then he says, what is this? This food is unfit for human consumption. You are a criminal. Be grateful for what you were given. Bhagat Singh was shocked at the treatment meted out to political prisoners. Friends, outside the jail we fight for the freedom. Inside the jail we must fight for our honor. We are prisoners, but our human dignity must be respected. Let us go on a hunger strike in protest. We're with you. The government did not respond, but not for Jatin Das, one of those on hunger strike, died a martyr. Meanwhile, the government had cast its net far and wide. Several revolutionaries have been arrested. Bhagat Singh and his comrades, Rajguru and Sukhdev, were tried for Saunders' murder. Kishan Singh came rushing to the jail. My son, I will get the best lawyer available for you to defend you and secure your release. No, father. The government and its law courts and verdicts mean nothing to me. Kishan Singh left the jail with a heavy heart. My son does not know what is good for him. I will submit a petition to the government. In his petition, Kishan Singh pleaded the son was not in Lahore at the time of Saunders' murder. Bhagat Singh reacted sharply to his father's move. My life is not so precious as you may think it to be. You've always been a dauntless freedom fighter. What makes you weak now? My son, forgive me. On October 7th, 1930, the state advocate called on Bhagat Singh. Sardar, I'm sorry. The court has awarded you the death sentence. Yes, so I've heard, but no one need feel sorry for me. You were brave, but to die at this young age. I advise you to submit a mercy petition. There's no need. He's 23 years old at this time. Why not? It's better to die bravely than to cringe before the enemy. I am the moth of the flame of liberty. Bhagat Singh's mother, Vidyavati, was equally brave. When she met her son in jail, son, death claims everyone. Yet dying for a noble cause is the privilege given to a chosen few. I am proud of you. But his youngest brother, Kultar Singh, could not withhold his tears. Later, Bhagat Singh wrote him a letter. It pained me to see tears in your eyes today. Don't lose heart. What more can I write? Bhagat Singh was to be hanged on March 23rd, 1931. When the jailer went to his cell, Bhagat Singh was reading a book on the life of Lenin, the great Russian revolutionary. Yep, that's it. He was a communist, an atheist, a freedom fighter, a violent revolutionary. Every group involved in the promotion of India's message would have an axe to grind with him. But he died a martyr, and everyone respected his strong will. Sardar, we have come to lead you to the gallows. Just a moment, please. Let one revolutionary meet another. A few seconds later, he closed up the book and got up. Sukhdev and Rajguru were brought from their cells. At 7 p.m., the last journey began. Bhagat Singh burst into song. You will kill us, but not the patriotism in us. The fragrance of freedom shall rise from our pyres. Hearing the song, other prisoners in the jail raised patriotic cries. Inkilab Zindabad! Up will the national flag! The 3 revolutionaries marched up to the gallows, watched by the officials. Then Bhagat Singh turned to the British Deputy Commissioner. Well, Mr. Magistrate, you were lucky. Today you shall see how Indians embrace death with pleasure, for the sake of their supreme ideal. Then the Lahore jail resounded with a powerful cry. Inkilab Zindabad! The voice was stilled for a moment, but when the hangman pulled the rope, the cry was taken up by millions of Indians. Inkilab Zindabad! The lesson which we should learn by Bhagat Singh is to die in a manly and bold manner so that India might live. Wrote Jawaharlal Nehru of this valiant young martyr. It's beautiful. Again, he's not, and if you really study him, he himself was controversial, morally gray in terms of his handling of the death of this one police officer. This one police officer, and whether or not his trial for the murder was just, we cannot say, but his story is not just the story of one violent revolutionary. It's the story of India itself, and how Indians are not afraid to die for their country, and that's what we celebrate this Independence Day. And now it's time to ask this last question of this last question, the most important question that Indians must ask themselves. So what we're going to look at is, do Indians have skibbity riz?
Within their own castes in India.
You know what? I'm sorry, but at this point, brain rot and internet bashing is an important part of our culture, and we need to take it in stride.
Okay, so I want to start this video by saying I'm not racist, and I love Indian people. Now, I know that's a strange way of starting a video, but the question still remains, do Indians have skibbity riz? Now, this is a question that's become very prevalent today, especially as India has become the most populous country on earth. I want to put this into perspective, right? Let me just have a little sip of wine. India could send 2 million Indians to every country on earth. 200 countries. And it would still have 1 billion Indians in its own country. That's how densely populated India is. Some people are calling this the IQ, the Indian question. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at, do Indians have skibbity riz? And this is going to be a 10-part series. This is part 1. And in part 2, we're going to talk about
Parts 2
Hitler,
through 10 were never...
Adolf Hitler, and his relationship with Indians and Indian culture. But for now, in part 1, we're going to talk about the caste system and whether it's plus or minus skibbity riz on the skibbity riz scale, which goes from 420 to minus 420, of course. Now, what got me started on all this was basically, I recently read an article about a guy called, well, a Bollywood actor, one of the top Bollywood actors, in fact, called Salman Khan. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Salman Khan did something very interesting over 20 years ago. Now, what did Salman Khan do? Well, what he did was he decided to drink copious amounts of alcohol, like I do on a regular basis,
Right.
and then drive his car, which I don't do, allegedly. Now, allegedly, Salman Khan, then, while being under the influence of lots of alcohol, driving his car, he drove it into a group of homeless people, killing one of them and injuring many others. The eyewitnesses that seen Salman Khan drunkenly stumble out of his car after killing and injuring many people were deemed unreliable, and Salman Khan was acquitted of all charges and completely got away with it. And it didn't really even impact his career that much. I mean, he took a little break, but eventually he went back to Bollywood and remained
he was
a
found
superstar.
guilty but later cleared. He's not in prison. He never went to prison.
Now, this is actually quite a good reflection on the caste system as a whole, in many ways, in multiple ways, in fact. In one way, it's a clear. It shows that Salman Khan was of a high caste, I guess.
Okay, I will point out, no, Salman Khan is not of a high caste. He is Muslim, which means he's outside the caste system. And second of all, someone's caste in India is generally denoted by their last name, but Khan means that his ancestors come from the Middle East. Khan is a very common Turkic name, like Genghis Khan. The Krum, the Khan of Bulgaria, is a very common name for Turkic people. So, symbolizing like leadership. The leader of a Turkic culture was Khan. So, no, he's not high caste, but the elitism in India, the fact that the law doesn't apply to everyone equally, that's not something unique to India. That's something universal. That's look at Diddy, for instance.
He's a high person anyway, and then he drove and killed a untouchable. I imagine that's what they would class this person. A homeless person would be classed as an untouchable in India. We'll get into that in a bit. But basically, and he got away with it, and he carried on his life. And this is quite a little bit reflective of this hierarchy system. There's also there's something else that's interesting with Salman Khan, and that's his second name. Khan, Salman Khan, Genghis Khan, the steppe people of Mongolia, the steppe people. We're gonna get into it. I'll explain now in a minute. Right. Basically, what is the caste system? I'm just going to quickly sum up the caste system as quickly as possible. Basically, the caste system is a social hierarchy. So you are born into a certain caste or a certain group of people, and based on that, you are either high caste, where you are generally wealthy and you could have jobs like teachers, and you can have jobs like intellectuals, and you are considered of a higher caste. And then you have the low castes that are deemed to be almost laborers. And in one way or another, basically, if you're born a low caste, you are basically born in some sort of servitude to the higher castes. You are born almost into slavery.
Historically, the poor in general are
higher castes
serve the rich in any culture.
The laboring
once again,
force, like in labor jobs, which sounds pretty.
But yes, don't see me as defending the caste system. Caste is a big problem in India. Still, castes are still largely endogamous. In the more backward rural parts of India, castes are living spaces, places and neighborhoods are largely segregated by caste. There's quite a bit of caste discrimination in India, to the point where there's actually a small amount of caste discrimination in the US, in companies run by Indian, largely with management largely Indian, like Cisco.
Very skibbity riz to me.
It isn't.
So what you have is like the top caste, which are called the Brahmins, and then you have the other castes, the other groups, and then you have the lower group, and then you even have a lower group called the untouchables. These people are considered so low that they should not even be touching the higher castes. And even now in India, if an untouchable so much as touches a Brahmin, they can get into big trouble for this. This is still today, even though technically the caste system was made illegal in like 1950 or something. It's still very prevalent. It's still very, very prevalent.
Yeah,
to the point where
we do have a problem, but I think
marry
we're getting
within
better.
their own castes in India. but I can see what you're thinking now. I can see what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, okay, the caste system kind of sucks, but at least it's not racist, right? At least it's like just Indians shitting on other Indians.
Well, it depends what you mean by racist. Again, the caste system has been endogamous for castes have been endogamous for hundreds of years, to a large degree, and to the point where there's pretty significant genetic differences between many castes. I mean, no, I'm kind of bullshitting. Let's just continue.
It's kind of like,
I mean, endogamy, like I said, race is a sociological concept. It doesn't have that much to do with genetics. Genotypes are a lot more complex than that.
the Balkans. The Balkans, where everyone hates each other. The Serbs. What do the Serbs hate the Croatians? The Macedonians hate the Bulgarians. Everyone hates the Albanians. Everyone hates the Turks. It's like they all hate each other, but basically they're all the same racially. Balkan people will hate me saying that, which is why I said it. But
yeah, I can see that. That's a good example.
So with the caste system, it's just Indians hating on other Indians. At least it's not racist, right? Well, I traveled India for 3 months, and what I seen there was interesting. So when I was maybe like, I don't know, at a nightclub in India, which I recommend, they don't really do nightclubs that much. It was more of like a bar where people act cool. Those people would be much lighter skinned than the people I would see the next day on the streets, for example. Now, you could easily just say like, oh, well, this is just due to the lower castes or the lower people, which I hate saying the lower people, but the lower castes would generally, they're laborers and they're out in the sun more. Therefore, they have a darker complexion because they're just, they have more
See,
sun
yeah, that's
exposure.
what I was talking about.
And there's definitely something to that.
There
but,
definitely,
what if I told you there was more to it?
Genetic
What if I told you there might be a real racial element to this? Okay. Now we're getting into it. So first of all, we have to look at steppe migration theory. What is steppe migration theory?
There it is.
I suppose this was actually a very common belief in India until pretty recently, because, well, you'll see. The idea is that a group of paler-skinned people came from the north on chariots and took over India and put themselves as the warrior race and the higher castes. This was a very common belief. And the idea that they came in on chariots, you'll see now, like if you look at Indian gods, they all have chariots, and the chariot wheel is a very big deal in India and so forth, whatever. But obviously it doesn't sound very good anymore. But it actually relates to this idea of the steppe migration theory. And I'm going to change the word steppe and change it to Ukrainian, because that's kind of where they were.
Yeah.
Imagine a bunch of Ukrainians 6,000 years ago. And what they did was they discovered that you can tame horses. Now, also they found out that you could drink milk and had a tolerance for milk. But that's a side note. But they could tame horses. Now, taming horses back 6,000 odd years ago, that was actually like a superpower. That was a nuclear weapon. They discovered a nuclear weapon. And with that, they actually spread out throughout all of Europe. They spread east, they spread west, and they also spread down to India. That's the idea. And obviously this is just a theory, right? There's no proof of this. Well, with modern day gene studies,
yep, there it is.
What they've discovered is that there's, especially within the high castes of India, there's a high percentage of Yamnai genes, Ukrainian genes.
Yep, Ukrainian
You'll
genes.
find actually in the high castes of the Brahmins, the highest of the high of caste in India, they actually have close to 30% genes related to Ukrainians, this steppe people, this old steppe people. So then when you take a backward step on that, you go, okay, so a bunch of Ukrainians with a bunch of horses and milk came to India, took over India, they put themselves as the high caste, and they're still now, the Brahmins, are 30% related to these old people, to the point where the lower castes in India are far less related to the Yamnai, for example. You would think you could look into it yourselves, but basically the high caste are still the Ukrainians. So what you could say about the caste system is that it's racist.
To some degree, yes.
And I would even say it's almost, in some ways, worse than racism of other countries. Especially if you have this untouchable class, a class of unworthy people that cannot be touched. It's pretty grim. And now we'll go back to Salman. Now, you remember when I said about Salman Khan? Genghis Khan, the steppe people? Well, that might be a later addition to India, the Khans. Genghis Khan did take over most of the world. I think we need to be wary of these steppe people, the Mongolians and stuff like, and the Ukrainians. Are they going to take over the world again? Are they going to discover a new type of horse, milk intolerance, and take over? I don't know. We got to be wary of them anyway. But overall, hopefully I haven't rambled too much. But so this is the end of part 1 in my series of Do Indians Have Skibbity Riz? At the moment, I'm going to say Indians are lacking. This whole concept of caste system is minus on the Skibbity Riz scale, I'm afraid. Hopefully, well, that's a great way of ending a video, actually.
Well, there you have it. Do Indians have Skibbity Riz? Well, the caste system is not Skibbity Riz, but I don't know why I watched this. I just thought this was weird. Watch on Indian Independence Day, but yeah. To be honest, Indian Independence Day ended on... Indian Independence Day actually ended like 12 hours ago, because Indians live in a different time zone, like to the point where when I actually got on the work, got to work, I found out nobody was actually there, nobody was on, nobody was online because I work remotely, and that's why everyone celebrating Indian Independence Day. But yeah, India is a great country. India is a great country. I'm proud to be Indian, and contrary to popular belief, Indians do in fact have Skibbity Riz. Thanks for coming, and expect more to come.